Coming up in this week's video, how to be more mindful. Hey everybody, it's Kalymnios here from thethoughtgym.com, here helping you become that superhuman leader I know that you can be and giving you everything you need in order to get you there. And in this week's video, I want to share with you this idea about mindfulness. It's a big buzzword, it's big in leadership, it's big in corporates, it's big all over the place right now. And you know what? It's actually been big for a lot longer than the last couple of years. It's been big for 1,000 years, 2,000 years. But what is it? And how do you become more mindful? For me, simply stated, mindfulness, and it differs slightly from meditation, it differs slightly from trance or hypnosis or any of these other things, although they're all kind of in the same family in a way. Being mindful just means about being present in your present circumstances and being present of your own thoughts and awareness as you're experiencing those. Most people, in my experience, walk through life a little bit unconsciously, not really carefully mindful of what they're doing. So how can you become more mindful? My simple suggestion is start small. It's always going to be about starting small. A lot of time, in my experience, people are afraid of spending time with themselves. From the moment we wake up, a lot of people might have the radio alarm going and then noise all the way through. This happened recently. I was on a trip and I was sharing a room with someone, and the person automatically by default wanted to put the TV on, wanted to have noise, background noise. And so my first tip is start to eliminate all this background noise. It's quite uncomfortable at first because I used to be in the same position where first thing, as soon as I come in the house, I needed to have the TV on or the radio on as soon as I wake up in the morning because I didn't want to be alone. I didn't realise this obviously at the time, but I didn't want to be alone with my own thoughts. And now having that silence almost forces you to kind of have a bit of self-reflective time. So that's my first tip, is like start to eliminate at least part of the day some of those distractions which distract us from tuning into ourselves. So then the second part is, how do you tune into yourself a little bit more? One of the key ways that we talk about in like this area of mindfulness and yoga and meditation on tuning into yourself is really by focusing in on something that's happening at the time. And something that is always happening for you is your breath. So it's a really good way of becoming mindful, is just to kind of notice your breathing pattern. This is more, I guess, traditional meditation style mindfulness where you're sitting there and you're noticing your breath. But what you can also do throughout the day is at periods of time you might be doing, say, washing up the dishes. Just notice how your hand is feeling whilst holding the dishcloth and how your other hand is feeling whilst holding the plate. And just bring attention to that activity. And it's gonna happen for like maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds, maybe even longer. And then you're gonna drift off back to thinking about whatever or get back into your conversation. But whenever you can, bring yourself back to the activity you're doing. Whatever it might be driving the car, and when you started to drive the car you probably were a bit more mindful because you had to think about, you know, put the clutch in, put it into first gear, check the wing mirrors, all of that. You had to think about it and be a bit more present in there. And then it became a bit unconscious. And what it's all about, being mindful, is bringing it back, that attention back to what you're doing. Stopping yourself from going into the future or the past and really bringing yourself back into the present moment. And that is what you do when you start paying attention to the little things that you're doing. And it only need be little things. It might just be right now when you're watching this. You can be mindful about how your feet feel on the floor or in your shoes, or maybe you're sitting down watching this, how the weight of your body feels in that chair. And just bring your attention to that for like maybe a minute, maybe 30 seconds. And then as you build up, you'll start to become more mindful throughout the day. It doesn't mean you live your life all like that, but being a bit more mindful does bring a bit more calm, serenity, and actually improves your health in certain ways as well. So my tip there is cut out the distractions, at least some of them, at some of the point of time, and then start with the mundane tasks and just start to pay attention to your breath, how your hands feel when holding something, just something small. And that is 1 and 2 ways on how you can become a little bit more mindful. What do you think? What are your tips on becoming more mindful? Let me know in the comments section below. Remember to subscribe and share this video. I will see you very soon. Until then, remember to stay strong, stay super. Bye bye.